Hi everyone, welcome to Open Stutter. I'm excited to introduce our next guest today. This is Bobby Edwards, and he is a friend of mine and a former group member with me at the University of Maryland. It's great to have you, Bobby.
It's great to be here.
Bobby, I wanted to start with just asking you, what are your earliest memories of stuttering?
I believe I started stuttering at around 5, maybe 6 years old. I remember stuttering, like when talking to other kids, or even when talking to my parents. I would involuntarily repeat words. Even back then, I kind of felt like that wasn't really normal because I wasn't talking like the other kids. As I grew older, I did go into speech therapy during like elementary and middle school. Like I'd go to speech therapy about once a week, and honestly, back then, like I didn't really understand why I was there. Like was there something wrong with me, or like what's the deal? And as I grew older, I basically became more covert, trying to hide it and everything. Yeah, especially through middle and high school. It was really a hard time for me. Trying to hide it and everything. And really, it's been more recent that I've really come out as a person who stutters. Like I would say 3 years ago when I saw Vivian for the first time. Like before that, I just wouldn't acknowledge that I was a person who stuttered. Like I just wouldn't even. Uh, I just didn't want to admit it.
Yeah, it's a hard thing, I think, to spend so much of your day pushing away a part of you that's there.
Right, it's so, and you feel like it's so abnormal, and like you wonder, like, can I really be a productive person of society? Right? It makes you think that.
What were your biggest fears about being a member of society and stuttering growing up?
I guess I was more concerned about being different, being too different, or being made fun of. I mean, a lot of people, don't really think highly of people who stutter. Well, not all people, but some people don't really think highly of it, I guess. They might think we sound incompetent, or we might not, or we don't know what we're talking about, even though we have, great knowledge of what we know, and what we study and what we work in, but sometimes they hear us speak and they might not take us that seriously.
What's been your experience now that you're out in the working world and stuttering openly? Do you still feel that people don't take people who stutter as seriously? Or how have your views changed on that, if at all?
Especially through meeting other people who stutter, it helped me realize that we can have great roles in society. I mean, we're very capable of doing great things, like really anybody else, no matter what their background, no matter what their differences, that we can change the world. Really, we are capable of it.
one of us is about to be president of the United States.
Yeah. Yeah. And when I was a kid, like if you were to tell me that we were going to have a president who stuttered, like I would have just thought you were smoking crack or something. That's what I would have thought. But yeah, that is really cool.
So you mentioned as a kid and really up until a couple years ago that you were covert and you pretty much tried to hide your stuttering as much as you possibly could.
Right.
How did you hide it?
My go-to strategy was basically just don't talk or say as little as possible, only speak when spoken to. I guess when I was in social situations, like I felt like if I was if I was put in a situation where I had to speak, I felt like I felt like a recruit being stared down by a Marine Corps drill sergeant, right? And like I had to stand straight and I just thought to myself, whatever you do, do not stutter. Just that's just what it felt like a lot of times. And being covert and really not saying much at all, like I really in doing that, I really wasn't showing who I was. I really wasn't. Growing up, I kind of regret that. I mean, I was basically known as the quiet kid who didn't really say much. And whenever I did say something, they would just look at me and say, "Oh my God, you can talk." And I'd just be like, "Thanks a lot. That's really helpful." Growing up, I guess I would have rather be remembered as the kid who was quiet and shy than the kid who stuttered. And I really felt like if I did come out as a person who stuttered, that I may as well have just worn a T-shirt that said "bully me," But looking back, I was also bullied for being quiet and being short. I mean, I'm only 5'4", so what's the difference, right?
I'm with you on the short thing. And I used to be with you on the quiet thing too, but I talk a lot now.
Yeah.
I resonate a lot with what you're saying in terms of I just didn't want to be a person who stutters, and the idea that you'd rather be seen as anything else but a person who stutters. What do you think the cost of that were?
Not doing what I really wanted to do, or maybe I didn't get as far in life as maybe I hoped I would by this point. I mean, looking back, like if I had a question in class or whether it was high school or college or whatever, I just would not ask, basically. Like just the thought of being in a lecture hall and raising my hand to ask a question to the professor was just a nightmare for me. Like I guess I felt like I would be taking up everyone's time. And when you're a person who stutters, you might be taking a little more time than you would normally. And I just didn't want that. So I basically felt like I was really more on my own in my academics, and maybe I didn't excel as much as I could have. And the same goes for really being in the job market. I mean, job interviews used to terrify me. I mean, even now they're a little scary, but they're basically doable now. But yeah, like I remember being in my early 20s and you know, not really working that much due to that, you know, the communication barrier that I had really put up with my attitudes of stuttering.
When did you realize that you had another option?
I pretty much got to a point, I would say, in my late 20s where I was in a job that, well, I'm still at to this day, but back then it was a little different. Um, and I just felt like I wasn't getting anywhere. Like I was just stagnant, like in life. Like I should be somewhere up here, but instead I'm kind of down here somewhere, you know. But and I remember, you know, nothing was changing, and I was wondering, you know, why is nothing changing? You know, like why am I stuck in this place? Like I remember being depressed and angry about that, and it wasn't until, honestly, it was really my mother that asked me about stuttering and maybe going back to speech therapy. And I remember thinking, there's just no way that it could be stuttering that does this. I thought I stopped stuttering years ago. Then when I saw Vivian for the first time, and we discussed the profile of people who stutter and some of the behaviors they exhibit, like it practically described me to a T. And I was like, wow, I didn't realize that stuttering or my attitudes towards stuttering was really affecting me that much. I mean, it was basically right there in front of my face, but I just wouldn't acknowledge it, basically. But now that I've acknowledged it, I can now, I feel like I can really go about my life now.
You're you're talking a lot right now, obviously, and it's, I knew you when you first joined group, and you you were in that place still of, I don't really talk that much because, one, I don't want to stutter, and two, I'm just not used to talking that much.
Right, right.
You know, you spend so many years not talking that to sort of jump into the world of talking and communicating and showing your personality and being you, there's a period of self-discovery and playing around there.
Yeah.
What has that been like for you?
It was, I guess, really refreshing, finding out that stuttering has always been a part of me, and that I don't have to be ashamed of it. I don't have to be ashamed of it anymore. Yeah, that was really, like, that put a big weight off my chest. I felt like.
How did you come to that realization and actually believe it?
Again, probably meeting other people who stutter and hearing their stories about what they've gone through, which a lot of things were similar to me, and what they've accomplished just really resonated with me. Made me think, maybe I can do that too. You know, maybe it is possible.
You mention meeting other people who stutter, which for me, he also was a huge thing.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing other people who stutter, who, like you mentioned, had jobs that I thought I might want to do, or were really personable people, or really funny people, or cool people, or just all these things that I thought, right, it's impossible to stutter and do any of those things. And it was kind of this sentence that was imparted on us because it's the way we were born. And then to see other people sort of being themselves and being funny and being cool and being personable and doing all of that while stuttering at the same time was an aha moment for me too. I'm sure that there are people out here listening to this who are saying, I want to be where Bobby is right now. I want to be talking and be out there more and be participating in meetings at work and going on job interviews and feeling like it's not the scariest thing in the entire world. How did you get to this place? In addition to meeting other people who stutter, you've also done a fair amount of work.
Yeah. I pretty much, it's really pretty much just getting over fear. I mean, I know we've talked about the fear hierarchy, like you start low with things that aren't that scary to you to do. And then you have mid, which is something that's hard to do, but is doable. And then you have the high fear zone where just it's very difficult and like it takes a lot of courage to do. And I would just start out doing low things, things that I'm not that afraid to do in speaking and open stuttering. Like I might do a couple throwaways of phone calls or something when I'm trying to call someplace and I'll probably never hear from them again. So it's really no big deal if I stutter that much. And maybe a mid-fear situation would be like speaking up in a meeting, probably. And then a high fear would be maybe giving a speech in front of people or dealing with a person of authority or open stuttering in front of them or something like that, But I would basically work my way up and eventually it's really not that scary anymore. But that I think really helped me.
Do you have a particular story or challenge that sticks out in your mind as I'm really proud of that one?
That would probably be an interview I had before the pandemic. I did a phone screening and I remember open stuttering like quite a bit. I remember. I mean, I was anxious. I was nervous because I mean, who wouldn't be for a job interview? I remember open stuttering and pretty much saying what I wanted to say. Maybe I did feel a little time pressure, but other than that, I mean, it was a success. It really was. And I remember feeling really proud of myself, even though I never actually got a call back. But yeah, that was really cool. I thought a cool thing I did.
That's awesome, Bobby. I can't help but think about the first time I met you and how talking socially, sharing information was just such a slog, and you're going off and doing interviews and communicating well and saying what you want and stuttering the whole time and feeling good about it afterwards.
Yeah.
It's really cool. What would you say are some other changes that you've made that are meaningful to you?
I guess really not being too hard on myself, especially if like maybe I do an assignment and maybe it didn't turn out the way I thought it would or the way I hoped, or maybe not being so frustrated with myself when I do open stutter or when I do maybe feel embarrassed. And that's also another thing I have learned with these assignments is, letting yourself feel what you feel whenever you're disfluent, whether it's shame or guilt or fear, just learning to feel that and really anticipate it, really. I mean, like going into situations to purposefully feel it, really. As crazy as that sounds, but it does make you think that that once it's over, maybe that it's really not as bad as you thought it would be. I mean, you felt those feelings, but you're still here. I mean, you're not dead, right? So,
yeah, no one has died from doing a speech assignment, as far as we know.
all right.
What advice would you give to younger Bobby? If you could.
That would probably be that you're okay the way you are. It's okay to stutter. You can do whatever you want to do in life despite this. There's many, many other people out there like you that go through the same challenges, and they've gone on to do great things. You can do whatever it is you want, despite stuttering. You can get your dream job. You can make friends. You can be social. You can talk to girls, which, by the way, when I was in middle and high school and even part of college, girls were basically a no-no to me. I mean, I always thought that girls just didn't like people who stutter. But looking back, it was the only reason why girls rejected me was because of my awkward social graces, which honestly, stuttering kind of had a thing in that too. So it really would have been better to just show it, really. But anyway, yeah, you can, like, don't let stuttering hold you back. That's what I would tell my younger self.
I'm excited to see what you do next, Bobby.
Yeah, I am too.
Thank you so much for joining me today.
Sure, no problem.